supporting disclosure.
My name's Michelle Courts. I'm a lecturer at TAFE and I teach in Certificate 3 Individual Support, Disability and also help out in aged care. I've identified that in my cohorts, particularly in the disability stream, I have quite high numbers of people who actually identify as having a disability, and only a small number would disclose that. Over time I have made a number of things that I do, so I just assume that people have disabilities and issues. Quite a number of my students would come in and they've had a negative experience with learning, so and that would be for a range of reasons, and over time they disclose things like, oh well, I was put in the special class, or I dropped out of school because I lost a family member, or major crises in their life. And often they disclose other things, like, so learning is a whole range of things, and having a learning, what impacts on people's learning isn't always just the fact that they have autism, or they've had a head injury, or they have dyslexia, or they have anxiety or depression. These are the sort of the key things that I pick up. Yeah. In terms of support, we have supported study days, and I say to the students, like if they're part-time and if they identify as having a disability and they're part-time, I say to them, look, you're only expected to come every second week in terms of making sure that you're here enough, but you can come every week. And sometimes they choose to do that because that gives them that extra support and keeps them going. So I also make sure that my team know about the person. So sometimes we do get notifications. So the person has an identified disability, they've been to student services, we actually get a sheet telling us, not what the disability is, but the sort of things that we could do that might help that person. And sometimes that works. Yeah, sometimes that works. Not always. And I just play with it in terms of how that works for the person, the individual. Because sometimes you're actually hearing a reflection of what the parent thinks that person should have, not actually what the person could have. That kind of stuff. Yeah, just certainly try and work with the student. The other thing too is in terms of working with like flow students or students who are on some sort of program or work with student services, I ask if, now do you want me to include, and I make sure it's an agreement with the student, would you like me to include that person in? So if they're a school student, well you do, because it's a vet student, you have to go back through them. So if I do any communication with the student, I would CC in their support person. So for flow, it's the flow support group person, the contact person, I include them in so that there's adequate support. What happens over time is they get to know you and they actually disclose to me. That's what happens. And then I say, now, you know that you can put in something in place to support you to do this. And then it's really their decision. So the sort of things that I do I suppose I don't say that I encourage disclosure. I offer to disclose, but not everyone chooses to do that because it hasn't always been a positive experience for them.
This video was produced for the Disability Awareness Supporting Students in Vet Resource. For more information, visit www.disabilityawareness.com.au.